Violent turbulence rocks Garuda Flight 421. Terrified passengers just want the nightmare to end. Instead, the white-knuckle ride gets much worse. The 56-ton jet is falling from the sky. What began as a routine domestic flight across Indonesia has suddenly turned into chaos above the clouds. Overhead bins burst open, bags slam into the aisle, drinks explode across the cabin. Passengers who were laughing moments ago are now screaming, clutching armrests, praying for the shaking to stop. Inside the cockpit, the captain grips the controls as warning sounds cut through the noise. Beside him, the first officer scans the instruments, trying to understand why the aircraft is dropping so fast. The cabin crew, thrown against the walls, struggle to reach their seats. Then comes another violent jolt. The nose dips harder, and Garuda Flight 421 plunges deeper into the storm. Garuda Flight 421 had departed from Ampenan Airport in Mataram, Lombok, Indonesia, like hundreds of flights before it. Inside the cabin, travelers settled into their seats, expecting a normal trip to Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Some read newspapers, others dozed off. No one imagined that within minutes, every soul on board would be fighting fear. For a moment, everything seemed normal. Then the first sign of trouble felt small. A quick bump, then another. The seatbelt signs illuminated. Cabin crew paused service and looked at each other. They had flown through turbulence before. This seemed manageable. Then the aircraft lurched violently to the left. Gasps filled the cabin. A tray cart rolled free and slammed into a bulkhead. Coffee splashed across passengers. Someone cried out in pain. The captain's voice came over the speaker, calm but tense.
Ladies and gentlemen,
please remain seated and fasten your seatbelts immediately. That single sentence changed the mood on board. Passengers tightened belts with shaking hands. Outside the windows, towering dark clouds surrounded the aircraft. Lightning flashed in the distance. The sky looked alive. Then came the drop. Without warning, Garuda Flight 421 sank hundreds of feet. Screams erupted. Unsecured objects flew to the ceiling. In the rear galley, a flight attendant was thrown to the floor. Inside the cockpit, the crew fought to keep control. The captain pulled against the forces, hammering the aircraft. The first officer called out changing readings as instruments flickered under the violent motion. The storm was not passing, it was swallowing them. Another jolt slammed the aircraft upward, then sideways. Passengers sobbed openly now. Some held strangers' hands. One man repeatedly whispered goodbye under his breath. The cabin lights flickered. Rain hammered the fuselage. The captain requested an immediate course change. Static answered first, then a broken reply. Radar around them showed walls of weather in every direction. There was no easy escape. The first officer suggested turning back. The captain considered it, but another violent downdraft shoved the aircraft lower. Altitude was disappearing. Passengers near the windows could see nothing now except black clouds and sheets of rain. The aircraft rolled sharply. The captain focused on one thing, keeping the wings level. Minutes felt like hours. Every bump convinced passengers the next second would be their last. Then came the worst moment of all. The nose suddenly dropped, not a bump, not a dip. A sustained descent. The jet was falling. People cried out as the cabin angled downward. Loose items rushed forward. The pilots fought with everything they had. Nothing happened. For several terrifying seconds, the aircraft kept descending. Then slowly, painfully slowly, the nose began to rise, the fall stopped. But no one celebrated, because the storm was still there. Rain pounded the fuselage like gravel. The wings flexed violently. Every sound inside the aircraft felt magnified. Metal creaks, crying passengers. In the cockpit, the captain made a decision. They could not reach the airport. They would have to land immediately. Below them, through sheets of rain, a winding river appeared. It was their only chance. The turn toward survival began, yet even escape was brutal. The aircraft shuddered as it descended lower. Passengers braced for every movement. Many had gone silent now, too exhausted to scream. The captain's voice returned. Brace for impact. Cabin crew, prepare the cabin. Those words brought both hope and dread. Below the clouds, the river rushed closer. The water rose fast through the windshield. The aircraft lined up. But the wind still pushed hard. The approach was unstable. The jet drifted left, then right. The pilots corrected constantly. Passengers could feel every movement. Closer, lower, faster, then thump. The aircraft slammed into the river. A second jolt followed. Water exploded across the fuselage. The cabin shook violently. And after endless minutes of terror, Garuda Flight 421 came to rest in the Bengawan Solo River, Indonesia. For a moment, no one moved. Then applause erupted. Some passengers wept openly. Others kissed the seats in front of them. Cabin crew embraced in the aisle. The captain remained in the cockpit, breathing heavily, hands still on the controls. He had saved them, but he knew how close it had come. Emergency teams and villagers rushed to assist the survivors. Several passengers and crew required treatment for injuries sustained during the violent ordeal. News of the terrifying flight spread quickly. Afterward, investigators pieced together what happened inside the storm that day. Severe weather caused a chain of events that left the crew fighting for survival. Their calm decisions under pressure saved many lives. The pilots were praised for refusing to panic and for making the crucial decision to ditch in the river. The cabin crew were recognized for protecting passengers while injured themselves. For those on board, the memory never faded, because some flights are delayed. Some flights are uncomfortable, and some become nightmares in the sky. Garuda Flight 420